Is this thing on?
Are you ready, Matt?
You're listening to Box Office Bingers
with Matt Diaz and Ernesto Santos.
Good evening, folks. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Box Office Bingers.
And the only way that I know how to do it is to find you a bloody good dump.
He's my friend. I don't have friends. I got family.
I can do this all day.
You know, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Box Office Bingers. Ernesto, we have a special episode for you guys this week. Tell all the listeners what we are reviewing this week and who is hiding next to you.
Ooh, I know. It's like very ominous. It's like, Ernesto, what's this weird space right next to you? And I hit his mic too. Come on in. We've got, bam, the one and
Wow,
only
look at that.
David Donnell. I felt like I should have done something better, but I really didn't.
This is spontaneous, baby. This is all good.
We just made magic happen.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
magic, baby.
So we are reviewing.
That wasn't even rehearsed.
No,
He came in on
wasn't
cue
even
and
rehearsed.
everything.
It was very obvious that
woke
was
up like
not
this.
rehearsed. It was very obvious that what I just did was not in any way rehearsed. Anyways, episode 184, we are reviewing Blue Beetle with David Donnell. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you for having me again.
Starring Zolo Maridueña, Bruna Marquezine, George Lopez, Damien Alcazar, Adriana Barraza, Elpida Carrillo, Belissa Escobedo, Susan Sarandon, that's an easy one, Raul Max Trujillo, Harvey Guillén, I didn't practice that one, and Becky G, directed by Angel Manuel Soto, who directed Charm City Kings. I don't know if I've never seen any. Have you seen that, Matt?
I have, yeah. It was an HBO Max original that is no longer on HBO Max. That's one of the movies they took out of the streaming service. But it wasn't bad. It was about like streets, like something about the streets. I remember it was so good I forgot the whole movie.
Nice.
So yeah.
Okay.
But it was fun though. I liked the movie. I just don't remember it at all. It was a while ago.
Written by Gareth Dunet Alcocer, who wrote Miss Bala, something else. Have you seen that?
I have as well. Yeah. This movie is with I think it's Gina Rodriguez is her name. She was in Dear Jane the Virgin. And she did like this action movie, I guess, while she was filming the show. I just want to make sure that was Gina Rodriguez. Yes, yeah, Gina Rodriguez, yeah. Came out in 2019. Oh, that was actually a lot. So after Jane the Virgin. Or I guess when that was over. Either way, yeah, I remember seeing it, and it was like she was like held captive from this something dealing with the cartel, and I think within that process she became like they were using her as a mule, and then she kind of just became confident from there and just being a badass after that. So
5.8
yeah,
doesn't really speak good.
Yeah, it's currently sitting at a 5.8 on IMDb.
On IMDb.
IMDb
don't lie.
Okay, but we got some other stuff we got to go over, Matt.
Yes.
I don't know what that was. I'm sorry.
It's right. That's right. Yeah. I'm really excited to talk about Blue Beetle because this is one of the movies that we were really skeptical about as far as what does this mean for the DCU, if this was even going to be I know last week when we briefly talked about Blue Beetle, I was kind of skeptical on the film because the trailers weren't really selling me on it, and I just feel like it was an odd character to kind of dive into. And also just a character I'm unfamiliar with. But I came in there with an open mind. And also, this movie was supposed to be a HBO Max or Max original film before Discovery bought Warner Brothers. And they decided, when Discovery bought Warner Brothers, they were like, okay, we're going to put Blue Beetle in theaters instead of Max. So we're going to be diving into all of that later into the show to see if those were the best moves for the film. We'll also talk about their box office reception to see if they even how that all worked out for them, as we are as you know, Ernesto, we're kind of teeing up into our summer blockbuster conversation we're going to be having in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So with that, before we dive into all of that and all a review of Blue Beetle, we're going to be diving into David's best segment, your favorite segment, David. What You Watchin'. It's a fun segment we like to call What You Watchin', where we talk about our recently watched movies and TV shows. So David, we'll start with you. What have you been watching?
Well, just like always, I have it for you all nicely written down and like subcategorized. So we'll go through that real quickly. You know what I'm saying? All right. So just stuff that I was recently just finished rewatching or just got done with the seasons and whatnot week to week or just watched again. Two of my favorite sitcoms, Will and Grace and Superstore. Dude, I thank you, Ernesto, for showing me Superstore. That show went from like unknowingly knowing that show to like when I got home from that weekend, spending the weekend at your house, I watched it like 3 times in a row.
Oh yeah,
like back to back, and it was only at season 4 at the time. That's a comfort show now. I love that show. I recently just rewatched Tulsa King, The Boys, and Watchmen again. All those are good.
You rewatched them?
Yeah.
Like you rewatched Tulsa King, the show?
Yeah, dude, that's one of my favorite shows. It's
really?
Yeah, it's a really great show. But I'm a fan of I was about to say Steven Seagal. I'm a fan of Stallone. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's actually a really cool show. It's about like an ex-mob who stays quiet and does his bid 25 years for the mafia. He's a capo. Comes back and like gets no love. Like they literally sent him to Tulsa in like kind of like an exile. So he goes to Tulsa where there's nothing except biker gangs and starts up, and that's it. And that's the thing. It actually has a pretty good cast. The dude that was the teacher in Spider-Man is in it. He plays he's also Gil Wrench in Silicon Valley.
Oh,
okay.
He's in that TV show, so it's pretty good. And then
I see that's a Tyler Sheridan joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I say that's like the 3rd time I've watched Tulsa King.
Wow.
But it's a short watch. It's only like 10 to 13 episodes, maybe 9 episodes, 8 episodes, something like that. Recently, seasons that just ended. Solar Opposites just dropped last week, but that's a quick watch. The Witcher just finished season 3, which was great. But if there's no Cavill, I probably won't come back for the 4th season.
Oh, okay, so this one did have Cavill. So season 4,
season 3, was Cavill, and it was dope. It was really good. They did it in 2 parts. It was pretty. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it.
I heard a lot of people were kind of shitting on part 2.
I get it.
Of it all.
I get it.
So you understand it, but you still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as a whole. It's an enjoyable time. I'm a fan of Cavill, and the work he does. He has such a love for the properties because he's a nerd like us. That that's why he's leaving the show, because they were going and the second. What I'm assuming is the reason it's in 2 parts is because Cavill was up to where with them and their ideas, like they were coexisting, and then they wanted to go this way. Cavill's like, but that's not what the game does, and now Cavill wants to go that way with what the story actually goes, and they're trying to go this way, and that's probably why, in my opinion, that's probably not true. I'm just speculating. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
Cool. And then I don't know if you guys watched Twisted Metal on Peacock. That was surprisingly really good, really enjoyable. If anyone watched it was very funny, and it was a sitcom. So it was like 20-something minute episodes, like only like 13 episodes.
What's that? That's Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Arnett.
Yeah, dude, it was actually pretty good. Like not the best show ever, but like quite enjoyable.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I also see Stephanie Beatrice, who was in Superstore as well.
Yeah.
No, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn
Sorry, she's in
Nine-Nine,
Brooklyn
yeah.
Nine-Nine. And Thomas Hayden Church, who played Sandman in Spider-Man 3. Yeah, I was really interested in watching the show. I haven't done it yet, but I didn't realize there were 30 minutes, so that's good to know. And it's, like you said, it's getting like pretty decent reviews.
Yeah, it's a very enjoyable, fun ride. Like it's really good. And if you guys ever played Twisted Metal as a kid,
I did.
Dude, Sweet Tooth is they do him so well, like because in the video game you don't really know Sweet Tooth as a person. He's an ice cream truck with a clown head with flames.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So it was kind of hard. Like I thought it was gonna be hard to translate that into an actual human being, but like they did it very well. Like and then they gave him a backstory on why he's and it was good. It was good. And then I don't know if you guys ever saw the Hulu original This Fool. It's a sitcom on Hulu. It was season 2. No. It just came out. Dude, it's hilarious. This fool with the question mark at the end. That's how the show is. Yeah, it's a pretty good sitcom. The main character that you guys would probably know was that guy who used to do vines and YouTube clips, the Cholo Fitness. Remember?
Oh, I
you know what I'm talking
vaguely
about?
remember him.
Yeah. He was in. Oh yeah, you didn't watch that show, but yeah, he's the main character in that show. That show's pretty good. I recommend it if you just wanted a decent sitcom with a few episodes going on. And then I've just finished this weekend on The Ultimate Fighter, which is the Ultimate Fighter UFC show. And then that week I think ended last week was Strange New Worlds, Star Trek. Phenomenal show. Anyone who's a Trekkie or not a Trekkie, I think it would be perfect. And it's like people, there's so much Star Trek in this world that people don't know where to start. Luckily, Strange New Worlds starts in that universe in the very beginning. Like there's nothing before that. So if you start with Strange New Worlds, you're literally starting in the very beginning of that universe.
Ah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it's their newest show. And they actually just had a crossover event with they have an animated show called Lower Deck. Like it's like a Futurama show. It's like a very funny cartoon, like adult cartoon, but not like crude adult, just like, not meant for kids comedy. And they had a crossover event because Jack Quaid is one of the characters on that show. And they had a crossover event where he came over in the live action.
He's also doing My Adventures with Superman, too.
Which is on my list, and that's a great show as well. All right,
I started watching. I've watched a few episodes here.
Oh, dude, it's so good. I mean, as far as like a Superman anime, it's pretty good. It's on,
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it, and I think it's like also for the age group of like Avatar: Last Airbender. So it has a more cohesive story, but it's still you can still see that it's meant for a younger audience at the same time. But the adults or like teens watching it are actually able to be like, well, this is a good story too.
That's a really good assessment of it. Yeah. I agree.
And then
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
I haven't. No, sorry. I heard a lot of love for Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. I'm not a Trekkie myself, but for some reason, to probably your point, that show always interested me.
I recommend.
As like, oh, this feels like this in a way. I know the Orville is a Star Trek, kind of.
No, that's a ripoff, but a good one.
It's a ripoff. Yes, I understand that Star Trek was first, and Orville is kind of paying homage to it, depending how you look at it.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, oh, this looks like Adventure of the Week, kind of what Star Trek was back in its early days. Discovery never really, piqued my interest. But this one, Strange New Worlds, I was like, you know what? I think I might enjoy that show a lot. So I'm glad to hear. And I heard it's doing very well. And I heard they also had like a musical episode in there as well.
They did.
That's also very intriguing to me. So I look forward to starting this, even though, and kind of maybe getting some interest into the Star Trek world.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's definitely episode of the week, but at the same time, there's a main story arc going on from episode to episode that ties it all in towards a season finale. So, but yeah, it's a really good show. And then speaking of Orville, shows that I'm rewatching. I'm in the midst of rewatching Orville, because I'm also rewatching Supernatural. That's because me and my girlfriend want to rewatch Supernatural. We're going to the Supernatural Con in November, so I finally get to meet Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki. I get to meet the brothers and Castiel and all the other members, so that's cool. But so she doesn't like Orville, so on my spare time I watch Orville.
Are you gonna get him to sign?
Yeah.
Supernatural?
Oh yeah,
like maybe
Supernatural. I spent like $3,000 on this convention, and I'm staying in the hotel that the convention is at. So when I wake up, all I have to do is go downstairs.
You gonna get him to sign anything Red Hood?
It's either Red Hood, but I wanted Red Hood, and I have a comic book that I always said if I ever meet him. But then he did such a good performance as Soldier Boy. Like, how could I not have him sign the first appearance of Soldier Boy?
Ooh, okay. Oh, did you already get it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the mix. I'm looking for the right copy.
Okay.
I'm looking for the right copy on eBay.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking for the right copy on eBay.
Okay.
I have one that I have my eye on. It's in pretty good condition, and it's like going for like $50. But it's like the first like 3 episodes, and it's like not a boy's actual comic book. It's like a side story, a few issues miniseries it was called Herogasm.
And that was
his first appearance. Was in the comic book called Herogasm.
Damn, that's
like
a good one.
Like the episode.
That's a good one to get signed.
Yeah,
that's
what
cool.
I'm saying? Definitely. And then I'm also rewatching Blue Mountain State. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that sitcom. That's where Alan Richardson got his start. He was like a main character on that show. He played Dad Castle. It is a show about male toxicity.
Like toxic masculinity.
That one. But it's ironically funny and it's quite good. It's about a football team. Anyway, and I'm rewatching Frasier because that's all time high. Teen Titans cartoon series, rewatching that, and then with my girlfriend, I'm watching Attack on Titans as well. So I was going to take a nap, and she was like, changed for one of her comfort shows, and so she was restarting Vampire Diaries, and I couldn't fall asleep, so I got into like the first episode, and my mistake was, well, let me watch the rest of it with you, and I regret that decision because by the second episode I'm like, damn, this show sucks. Like, bro, it is so trash, bro.
It's a CW. It's especially
bro,
that one.
yeah, no. What happens?
Yeah.
I regret my decision. I do, but I'll do it for her. She watches a whole bunch of TV I don't like. But 9 seasons or 8 seasons, and it's like CW. Oof, why aren't you talking to me? Like that's the drama between betwixt the high schooler and like her vampire.
It's like nothing about the cool vampire shit. That's like the after story.
That's the after story. It's like the cool vampire shit and Wick stuff is like to the left. Like we're gonna focus on teen drama.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it.
You don't love me anymore.
And also, this is just a random thought about all vampire. Like, if okay, you die at like 18, 17, 19. All right, yeah, you could go to high school, or you could not be a high schooler for the rest of your immortal life. Like, why would you want to go back to high school, like, and just hang out with all these little kids? It's like, yo, this is flying. You know, this is all lit. Like, bro, what?
It's like, man, these kids don't graduate.
Yeah. It's like, bro, if you want to go back to school, pretend you're in college. Like, why can't you do that? Like, no, but high school is where it's at, man.
We gotta fit. This is where we go to fit in.
I guess. Anyway, we got on a tangent. And then week to week, I don't know if you guys, Futurama is back. I don't know if you guys have watched the new season on Hulu. It's a Hulu show now. It's a week to week show. Oh, dude, it's just as good as Futurama ever was. And they make fun of themselves in almost every episode, like coming back, like, dude, they had an episode where their TV show had to be rebooted so many times, and it's like, who would want to watch this show that got rebooted like 5 times? That's funny. That's funny, right? And then Only Murderers in the Building season 3 just is going on, which has Paul Rudd. It's and Susan Sarandon. No, I'm sorry.
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. So, thank you very much. That's a really good one. After Party. Have you guys seen After Party season?
Oh, I've seen season 1 of After
season
Party.
2 is hilarious. Loved it. Season 2 is just as good. I thought they were going to bring back everybody, but it just follows like the 2 main characters in the 2 and it happens in a new situation. But like the talent that they brought for season 2 is a lot. Like Ken Jeong's in it. The really tall dude from The Office, the later seasons, he was in Silicon Valley.
Oh, man,
tall, awkward guy. He's the main character on this show. They bring the dude Harold from Harold and Kumar. I forget his name. Yeah, he's the main character in this season, so it's pretty good. And then I'm watching the Dana White Contender Series, is another TV show for the UFC, going on week to week. Master Chef's going on. Harley Quinn, like we were talking in the season 5, is awesome. What We Do in the Shadow season 5 is really awesome as well. And the last thing is the weird talked about with My Adventures of Superman. Those are all the shows I'm watching week to week. All of them. All of them I'm actually really enjoying, all the week to week ones.
So yeah, but you've also on top of that, but you also have your AMC stubs.
Yeah.
So, but what have you been seeing, like, as far as like?
It's hard to justify the drive out to Disney Springs. I'm not using it as much as I thought I would.
No, but you have been using it. So what have been some good and bad ones that we haven't seen that we haven't talked about?
Nothing. Everything you've talked about is what I've seen. Like
like last time you were on here and we talked all together.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I watched Barbie, which was a funny movie. I thought that movie was brilliant. Exactly what that movie I thought needed to be in order to like. It was funny. They made fun of themselves, but they also showed like, like this could be every woman. Like they weren't trying to be satire. Like they were trying to show that this is what all these women could be. But then it became like, women started taking it as like an insult, and they were trying to be like, that's not what we were trying to be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. The only part that I really, and I just thought like the part was dumb in the Barbie movie, and then we will go on to the next thing, was just her talking to the owner, like I zoned out for like those 5 minutes. Because it was
toward the end,
yeah,
or in the middle.
Yeah, with Miss Perlman.
Rel Perlman.
Yeah.
I like that. I like my ADD couldn't keep me there. But it was I love that movie. Let's see. I watched The Red Door because my girlfriend likes horror movies.
Oh, okay.
Insidious, but she showed me the Insidious franchise, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good franchise, and I also really enjoyed it because the actor that plays Nighthawk, or Night, he was in Watchmen. He plays Night Owl.
Yeah.
That actor's in. I didn't know he was part of that franchise.
And
I like him as an actor, even though for some reason I can't remember his name. So that was a nice little treat to keep me into that franchise because I'm not really a horror person.
Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, he's dope. He was also in Aquaman. He played Ocean Master.
Did you watch The Flash? I don't think we've spoken to you since.
Oh yes, I did.
Then.
I did. I know what's wrong with The Flash. I know there's a lot of plot holes, but as pure entertainment value for like the fan, like true actual like fan service, like seeing Batman for the first time in daylight, seeing Batman for the first time in light gray and blue, seeing 3 or 4 different Batman in one movie, seeing 4 or 5 different Superman in one movie, finally seeing what Nicolas Cage would have looked like, you know, that was about to go into production and everything, and they canceled that movie. And you know, when that story came out, everyone was like, yeah, but Superman, Tim Burton, Kevin Smith, and Nicolas Cage as Superman fighting a spider. Yeah, I think we're okay on that one. And then like we're watching this movie, and then I see it, and I'm just like, no, I want to see that movie. Like that. Like let's make that happen.
You know what? I think they're onto something. I think they're onto something.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Was the CGI super bad? Yeah, but I grew up in the '90s and 2000s where all CGI was bad. And like, you know what I'm saying? So that didn't take me out of the movie at all. I totally understand that it was batshit crazy bad CGI, and it's very sad that the last time we'll see Cavill in the DCEU was horrible CGI. But Ezra Miller, Ezra Miller is a horrible human being. Horrible. No, he is, dude. He was trying to groom people. Anyway, we'll skip that. But I have to give credit where credit is due. He is such a good actor that I forgot how bad of a person he was. I'm like, man, this man is really saving the universe right now. Like he gave a great performance. I'm gonna have to hold the actor apart from the work, because he's a shitty person. But I can't take away that he did good for what he did. Now, could the movie have been a lot better? Yeah. If they would have stuck with the actual Flashpoint story, which Zack Snyder was trying to do, because like Zack Snyder had already casted everyone who would be in that Flashpoint already by Batman vs Superman. He had already casted everyone.
Yeah, my biggest gripe is that they didn't, like, if you're gonna do Flashpoint, like, how can you not include the Reverse Flash?
Well, you know why? There was a complete explanation for that. The Flash 2 was going to be an explanation, and the Eobard Thawne was supposed to be the main villain in the Flash 2, and then you were going to find out that the Flash has been pulling the strings since Superman.
You mean Reverse Flash?
Yeah, that Eobard Thawne has been pulling the strings since freaking Man of Steel. Yeah, so like that, like Batman vs Superman, all that was the Eobard fault. What was going on through Justice League, Zack Snyder cut, that was all his fault. What was going on through the Flash, that was all his fault. And we were about to find out that it was all his fault, and then the Flashpoint would have happened.
And maybe he just, and that would have been great, but maybe that's the problem, is that he spread it out too thin. Like, if you had compacted that into like a smaller amount of movies,
I get it.
Then maybe we could.
Well, also if DC didn't interrupt every time he tried to make a movie, like he had a thought out story that was decent enough that all the fans liked, and all his ultra cuts, director's cuts, all the fans were like, oh, those are pretty decent. But what came to theaters and what the mainstream saw was like Joss Whedon coming back in and fucking up Justice League completely.
Yeah.
What they did for Suicide Squad, the first one, like David Ayer's Joker was the main villain, and then Warner Bros. Like, nah, that's not cool. We're gonna cut that out and make Enchantress the main villain, her and her brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that based on what you said about what could have been for Flash season 2, Me personally, I feel like they had enough. I mean, if they really want, I guess maybe they want to spend more money on it. And also, this is coming off the pandemic, but they could have easily tried because, like, hey, look, this isn't. We're not getting a 2, and we know that. So, so we can try to button up this story if this is the only shot we have at the Flash. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, we could have changed things a little bit because the ending was really just too ambiguous that we knew it wasn't going to amount to anything.
No,
so
I concur.
Yeah, we're like we don't know, like you might as well just give us like one good movie instead of trying to tee up for the next one when knowing for at least a year and a bit we knew that second movie was most likely not going to happen. Well, so you might as well have made a solid one-off than anything else.
As I concur with that statement, They had word from James Gunn that if The Flash was successful, that they were already greenlit for the second movie, and that Michael Keaton was going to come back for a Batman Beyond movie. Yeah, so that was that. So like that. That's why I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's exactly why they tried. They probably tried to do it the way they did because they were like, well, if this is successful, then we do have that second movie for sure.
Yeah, I did hear that as well.
Yeah.
And
can't catch your chickens before they hatch, man. You know.
It's very true.
You know that's what happens.
Oh
no, that's the end of my list.
Yeah. Okay.
I forgot we're talking about movies. Dang it, I apologize. Let me do.
There's been a bunch of summer movies. Cause
hold on.
When was the last time we had you on?
Oh, The Machine. I think I saw The Machine.
Oh yeah, you did go see The Machine, the Burt Kreischer film,
which was a really decent movie. I wasn't expecting it to be more action. I thought it was going to be like a stand-up where I was going to be laughing every minute on the minute kind of thing, and it was funny. But it was like more of an action comedy kind of thing, and I just wasn't expecting that. But I like action comedies. It was straight, like I did it not.
The last time we had you on was John Wick.
Where do I go for my pasts?
Yeah, right here.
Okay, well then.
Past events.
Sorry, I'm still new to this app.
Just go Pat. There you go. He's looking on AMC and he's looking at all his past recent.
And Spider-Verse, which was awesome. Dude, don't get me talking. I'll be a whole nother review. Okay, we'll just go past that. I saw Spider-Man.
Yeah,
but what were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on it?
I mean, dude, it was great. We finally got to see Childish Gambino's live action version of the Prowler. Like, bro, what? And then they brought back even Spectacular Spider-Man, the voice actor for that quick little shot. It was sick, man. I just wish that they brought back Drake Bell. Because he doesn't get enough credit for being a big voice for Spider-Man. Like, he was Spider-Man for like a good 8 years almost.
Really? For which show?
The Disney one.
Yeah,
the Ultimate Spider-Man. The early 2000s one.
No, it was going on to like 2017, 18. It was the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, the Ultimate Spider-Man. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it also had like a crossover episodes with like the Avengers shows and the Star-Lord show that they had going on as well. So
2012 to 2017.
Booyah! Yeah, I actually really like that show.
Is that all you got?
As far as going to the movies, yeah.
Is that the end of your list?
My girl's been trying to drag me to Oppenheimer, and I know it's a movie, but I know it's not a movie for me.
Yeah, I don't see that being a movie.
I would dread to go watch a 3-hour movie that's just talking. Like so I have straight up told her, like, I'm sorry.
That's exactly.
I told her straight up, I'm like, I'm sorry, I cannot go to the theaters to watch this movie with you. Like I'm like I know I'm not, bro. What? I don't even want to watch a 3-hour movie that I want to go see. You're telling me like, yo, I'm just gonna sit here and watch them talk? I know it's a great movie. I know the story's crazy. I know it's crazily casted. I know it's crazy. It's Christopher Nolan. I know the bomb, bro. I do not care, and that's just my opinion. Like, I know that movie's gonna be fire. I'm looking at the scores. I will not invest 3 hours of my life in a movie theater. When it comes to streaming, when I could like move around in my own house and have comfortability, go make a sandwich or something, then I'll definitely maybe watch that movie.
I mean, that's fair though. I mean, even watching a 3-hour movie is already committed anyway. So, man. Yeah, no, thank you. I know I'm getting a lot of flack for that, and I totally respect all that flack. I get it. I know I'm missing out on a really dope movie, and I'm missing out on the 70mm film. I believe that's what they wanted to do it on.
to see that
Yeah.
real explosion of a beautiful bomb, that I'm willing to sacrifice that experience for my 3 hours of life.
Well, it's not something that interests you.
It does not.
And that's fine.
It doesn't. No, and I'm not condemning anyone who wants to see that movie. I know that movie's fire. Just know, I'm stating that. I know
Just
that
not
it
for
is.
me.
It's just a movie that's 100% not for me. It just isn't. And then, like, Ernesto is my best friend. He knows me to a T, right? You know, I'm like one of his children. I always have to take care of her. You know what I'm saying? So, and when my best friend, who is a movie analyst, is like, yeah, dude, it's not a movie for you.
Yeah.
I'm taking that to heart, bro. I was gonna go with my girlfriend until Ernesto kind of like, dude, that's not a movie for you, bro. Like, don't. I did. She's not gonna hear this podcast. Don't worry. Don't worry. I got you, bro. I got you. Yeah, dude. I was like, man, if he's telling me not to, because like, he's shown me so much. Like, he knows my taste. Mm-hmm. So like, for example, Superstore, one of my favorite shows ever. He showed me that. Barry, one of my favorite shows. He showed me that. That's just like two things off the rip. I can't remember all the other stuff you showed me.
Did you watch The Bear? Did you like watching The Bear?
No, that show was boring and whack.
What?
Dude, I work in a restaurant. I don't want to go home and live a restaurant on TV for my relaxation.
That's fair.
Like, bro, another show that's probably really well written, probably great casted and great, but dude, I don't care what goes on in the back of a restaurant. And if you're gonna make it a comedy, that's cool. Like Waiting, fine. But if it's gonna be like a serious show about a dude who has PTSD because he freaking works in a restaurant, I just look in the mirror for that, man. Like, I don't need to watch it on TV, bro, and relive my life every day.
I mean, that's a really good point.
I know that, but again, I'm not shitting on the show. I know that show's fired for. Yeah. I mean, look at the ratings. I believe it's like an 8.6 on MDB.
Yeah.
So I get it, but not for me.
Not for me
at all, man. No, not even a little bit. And my girlfriend had the same thing. She works in the restaurant. I honestly, and it's like everyone I hear talk about it doesn't work in a restaurant. They have, and they don't have to live that nightmare day to day, you know. But no one. It's always people that have never worked in a restaurant, or like Ernesto, who have worked and who finds that, oh, this is real. This is what it really was.
Yeah.
Post-traumatic stress.
Yeah, it's like I could relate to what that used to be like. But
and it's funny. It's funny now. It's not funny when you relate to it day to day.
It's like, oh, this episode's about today. That happened today.
Stupid bitch at my table, 41. God. Sir. I'll fucking hit you when I'm done talking to my table. Anyways, you need ranch with that sweet tea?
Ranch with the sweet tea.
Ranch with the sweet
Trust me, bro. These Armadalians drink ranch like they drink sweet tea.
Have you ever had server dreams where you wake up and like, oh, I forgot to get ketchup for table 12.
You wake up like Dracula. Fuck, I forgot to bring him a ranch. You just roll back over and go to sleep.
I have definitely had those.
Dude, I've had those a lot. It's not like every week or something, right? Even every month, but I've been a server for over 10 years.
It's like it's just a weird thing when it happens. It's like, why did I dream that?
Or when it's not even like scary, or you wake up from nightmare, you just like roll over, like wake up, roll over, and then in betwixt falling back asleep, you're like, damn, I forgot to bring him that ranch.
Like, oh damn!
And you just go back to sleep.
That night.
You kind of like chuckle a little bit, like, it's not gonna do now. I'm off the clock. I'm off the clock.
Had some audio technical issues. We had the audio cutting in and out. It looks like we were able to hear everything, but Skype seemed to have switched our audio settings. But got it all worked out, and we're back. Anyways, so as far as like what I've been watching, it hasn't been much. We're still watching Yellowstone, but we only have 2 episodes left. Like last night, we were like, ooh, we have the penultimate and the finale. It's like, well, we know we're gonna want to watch those together, so we're not. Let's savor so that we can like knock those out together, and then I think we decided we're gonna do the last season of Barry. Finally finish the last season of Barry, and then go to the Bear season 2. But another Taylor Sheridan show I started watching is the Zoe Saldana show, Lioness, and that shit is really good. Like, she's a part of this special ops team, and like the first episode opens, and It's just like the action is already there. I think that you would like. I think that you
Put
would
that
like
on my list.
It's on
I've seen it.
it's on
Paramount
Paramount.
Plus.
It's on
Yeah, I got
Paramount.
it.
It's still going. It's still going week to week. Nicole
perfect.
Kidman is in it. Zoe Saldana's in it.
Morgan Freeman.
I haven't seen Morgan Freeman
He's
yet.
probably, at the very end.
Yeah, I'm only like maybe
Less
two or
is
three
older.
I'm only like 2 or 3 episodes in. But the action is there.
Really?
The story is there. Like,
Okay.
it's worth it. It's worth it. Like,
Do you think I'd like Yellowstone, or is that too?
I think that you might like it.
I've been actually kind of thinking about starting it.
I think that you would like it. It's really, I mean, it's good acting. There's good. I mean, and you like his other shows. You watch Tulsa King. That's another Taylor Sheridan show.
So you know what? I gotta actually start like looking at who's making these shows before I even like. Cause okay, so if it's him, then I probably like this show.
Yeah, because isn't it like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Superstore? Isn't that the same creators?
Yes.
So, like,
yes.
That makes a lot of sense. Those are two of my favorite cards.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of shows that you probably already cross over that you don't even realize.
Yeah, I gotta start looking at producers and stuff. Like actually listening to this podcast every week and being on it has actually opened my eyes to like, well, yeah, the creators. Let me start looking at those people.
Oh, did you hear that, guys? You hear that promotion?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and clip that and promote that.
Yeah. What a glowing endorsement.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you.
guys.
Yeah. Glad we can give
Peace
you
and
that. Other than that, Hannah hadn't seen the new Transformers, so then we watched the new Transformers film.
I need to watch
and
that too.
Oh, that movie's great. It was surprisingly good, and actually, I even enjoyed it again, even on the rewatch.
Oh, good to know.
Anthony Ramos, like with Pete Davidson as Mirage as one of the Transformers, that was surprisingly good performance.
Pete Davis is good, man. Like he's been a decent. Have you seen his show Bumpkus?
No, I haven't
It's actually
seen it.
pretty.
Not
it's
yet.
actually pretty dude, Joe Pesci's in it. Like it has a good cast. Like
Is Pete Davidson good, or is he good because Joe Pesci's good?
It's like a small take off his life. So it's actually like he playing himself. The show's actually pretty damn funny, but in a serious, it's also a little bit serious.
Okay,
I
and you like it?
I'm waiting for season 2. Like the show is.
Yeah,
fire.
so you don't just watch funnies. You don't just watch
I know.
comedies.
Oh no, I know I watch serious shows too. Like I have a list of my shows that I rewatch that are serious. Like I like Daredevil. I loved The Punisher. Jessica Jones was a little slow but dope. Like I like those. It just has to be. I don't know, man. I guess I'm weird. I'm picky at certain times, and other times I let shit slide. So then I don't know.
No, I mean everybody's watch habits are so different
everywhere.
and diverse.
I just know.
Also,
Go ahead.
you have you gave us a lot
Yeah.
of like what you've been watching, so you definitely have a diverse watch list for sure.
Plethora.
But also, like, you like what you like and you don't what you don't.
I like to break it
that's
down to like my rewatch of sitcoms, animation, and then like serious shows that are like the typical 40 minutes or longer. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll usually pick one that my girlfriend would want to watch, and when she's not there, a series, one from each that I would want to watch as well. So like Teen Titans is for me, Attack on Titans for both of us, Orville's for me. Whatever I said else is for the both of us. Supernatural.
Was that your way to? Is like Attack on Titan? Was that your way to kind of break her into anime?
No, she kind of already liked anime because she loves Avatar. She already watched Attack on Titan except for the last season, so we're just rewatching it so we can watch the last season together because I haven't seen it either. She's not like a super nerd, but she definitely likes some nerdy stuff. Like she's into like Disney. She's a Harry Potter fan. And then like she likes the MCU, so and Star Wars. She likes Star Wars. So she's not like a nerd like us, where it's like but she does like to read books. And right now she's actually reading The Boys on her tablet because we were rewatching it. So
like all the comics.
Yeah, because she has the Kindle Unlimited.
Oh,
and I believe like a few issues of The Boys for free, so she was able to like.
Oh, dope!
She just wanted to read the comic book, and now she's actually reading the comic book.
Well, and that's the hope of what these comic book shows is to bring awareness and so people who are really interested can pick up a comic book and see that like there's some death to comic book stores. I had somebody tell me that like that comic book reading is not reading. I was like, are you dumb?
I see
like,
words.
like you must be dumb.
There's
like
words.
Yeah, you see the words here, but not only that is that there are actually really deep stories within a lot of comic books if you allow it. But just I was like, hey, stupid, have you ever looked at a storyboard? Like, this is a storyboard with words. Like,
and what people don't realize is all superheroes may be comic books, but not all comic books are superheroes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are so many intellectual, non-spandex wearing properties in comic book worlds. Like Preacher. I don't know if anyone saw Preacher on FX. That's a comic book movie.
The Seth Rogen show. We were talking about that.
That's
last
another
week.
one. Boom.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that have to do that are just that people don't even know. Like Lucifer. That's not a comic book superhero TV show. That's a comic book show. That's DC Vertigo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and there's also a lot of like you said, there's a lot of comic books that has nothing to do with it. There's also a lot of comic books based off other IPs. Like for myself, I have all the Back to the Future comic books. It was an extension off of the movies, but that has nothing to do with superheroes. And there's also just a lot of original comic books out there.
Walking Dead.
I mean, technically, The Walking Dead, absolutely. Like even like Archie. Like that's
Riverdale.
Kind of comic strips, but
Archie. No. That's definitely, dude. Archie is a definite comic book. Like that is legit to the comic book collectors. Like, dude, I wish I can get my hands on some earlier Archies. They are worth bang.
Man, I wish
they
I
are
still
real
had
comics.
them.
That's real comics.
I wish I still have them because when I used to go to the supermarket, my mom would I would ask for them because they would be right there in the aisle. Like, oh, can I have this?
Yeah, I liked Archie comics, man.
Damn, I wish I could find. I wish I knew where they were.
If I'm not mistaken, Archie's like old. Archie's from like when comic books like Superman era. Like if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, look that.
I guess it would be easy to find out. Yeah.
That bad boy up.
Wow, 1939.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
what?
Yeah, Archie comics is as old as Superman. a little bit younger than Batman. So that's what I'm saying. Like if I can get my hands on a 1930 something Archie comic book, dude.
Wow.
Grade that, even if it's a 1.0. That's things like, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
That's insane,
Absolutely.
man. Wow. I didn't realize it was that old. Good for you, Archie.
Man.
And now you got Riverdale, and that's ending.
Thank God.
So.
Dude, it's just a CW formula. Like, dude, I'm rewatching Supernatural, and it's kind of hard to get with the form. Like, dude, 26 episode seasons are ridiculous when you have. Yeah. Dude, like, bro, I'm on season 4 Supernatural. I have a Supernatural tattoo. I'm going to their convention. I love Supernatural. But, dude, it's like this first season's a little rough, man. And I'm laughing at a lot of things that I thought were serious or scary.
Especially what you know now from the franchise. Also, it's over. So it's always interesting to go back and watch how it started on a show you liked. And you're like, oh, man, that was
rough.
I mean, but we've done so much better since then, and I'm not sure if I can get behind some of the later, especially for a show that's like 14 seasons 15. Long. I believe it started in 2005, 327 episodes, ran for 15 years, and a total of 15 seasons.
That's 26 insane. Episodes a season, 48 minutes minimum. Dude, I looked and I did the average of season 1. It was like 50-minute averages.
Oh my gosh! I think I dropped off at season 11. How much fluff do you think
is in those? Like it's hard. Like that CW formula doesn't work in today's society with streaming, where you don't have fluff no more. It's 6 to 12 episode seasons now.
Yeah.
Like 26, that's double that, bro. What are you gonna tell me in 12 more hours?
It's just, I guess we didn't realize what they were giving to us. Like they were stretching out the story so that they could last all year, and that was all we were given. So we didn't notice until we got streaming, and then it's like, oh, we can get shorter stories. Oh, and people aren't dumb. They'll wait. They'll remember most of what happened the next year. Like we don't have to stretch this shit out all year. We can tell more compact, better stories.
And also, I'm sure it doesn't hurt that if we tell 8 episodes, like a condensed 8-episode story, it will probably have the same budget as a 22 episode long series, and we can probably boost up the budget a little bit. And we're seeing that with a lot of shows today. Obviously, Game of Thrones is one of them, of like 10 seasons. I mean, it's HBO money, so that was a little bit different story. But like we're starting to see a lot of shows that Yeah, that's some good money too. But we're seeing a lot of shows now that are like we have like a bigger budget to do an 6-8 episode arc, and it looks as the quality is good as what we see in the movies most of the time. Sometimes a little bit less, but it's television, so you can't do much about that. Yeah.
I mean, when it looks like the Flash on the mainstream, it's not hard to do better on TV.
That's so true.
I enjoyed
we've seen a lot better on TV.
Yes, we have.
Dude, like that Lord of the Rings show that
Rings of Power.
Yeah, dude, that show is like a $1 billion show. Probably not, but like I think they said
no, it
was. Oh yeah, bro. Okay, so I remember hearing that ludicrous statement. I'm like, dude, but it was crispy. Like that show was like beautifully shot. Man.
Oh man, the CGI on that was great.
I'm sad it got canceled.
Unfortunately, it just didn't hit the, for some reason people didn't flock over to see that show, but that was also around the same time that
Dragons was going out at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like people didn't want to watch 2 fantasy shows at the same time, but
I did.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. So.
I'm a rare breed though.
But we're nerds like
that. Exactly. No, I'm like Lord of the Rings gets a TV show, bet, because there's not a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff out there.
Yeah.
True. It's very true. Ernesto, anything else you've been watching?
Besides that, no. I'm probably that's right, and I didn't realize that Solar Opposites came back. So I guess it's.
Oh, there's something sad about it.
But is it? Wait, hold on. Is this last season? Is it good?
Yes.
All right.
Very good. Very good. What's sad is, but I totally understand. I understand what happened. I don't understand their reasoning for the solution. So what happened was, the dude that does Rick and Morty, the same creator, Justin Roiland, he got in trouble, fired from both of the shows.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but he's the main character in this show too. He plays Corvo. No problem. There's a lot of people who could imitate his voice. Let's get someone who sounds similar, and we'll just keep this roughly around the same voice, or if not, someone who can do it perfectly. Because like there's a lot of people trying to get the voice acting job for Rick and Morty. Like as soon as he got fired, all the voice actors were like going online trying to make their voice their like very good impressions of Rick and Morty going viral to try to solidify their job.
Yeah.
Why not do the same thing with Corvo? Like, bro, they chose a British actor to portray a guy who kind of talked slightly less dickish than Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. So it's like almost the same voice, almost the same delivery, but just like a lighter version of Rick and Morty. Not someone who's such a douchebag.
But it's a noticeable difference?
It's a completely British voice. Like dude, it's like, bro, it's a British voice. Like it's a British voice actor. The dude Corvo is now British.
Do they address it?
In the very, very, very beginning. But at the same time, it's just like they addressed it well. I'm not complaining about the way they addressed it, and I understand why his voice changed, but why go so far left? Like you had Dustin Roland's voice, and then you go to a British actor.
And I thought the update from that story was that he ended up being acquitted of everything.
Probably, but they still,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably best just to keep him separated from it. And also, from what I've also heard, after everything kind of transpired, that he wasn't involved much with at least the story anyway. I think he was mainly coming in like an executive producer role as well as just providing the voices. So I guess outside of that, it's like, well, if all we have to do is kind of just change the voice actor that we can imitate, then we can separate him from the whole thing.
It looks like the charges were dropped against the Rick and Morty co-creator Justin Roiland. The district attorneys told NPR charges are dropped against Roiland as a result of having insufficient evidence to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, that doesn't necessarily say he didn't do it.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah,
that's not convincing.
That's just saying they didn't have enough evidence to prove that he did do it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the they're probably like, you know what, we're just gonna step away. You'd like just kind of live in your riches for a while, and then we'll move on from there. But if that's all you got, I haven't been watching much either. I've been working my way through Star Wars Rebels.
How do you like it? How do you like it? I love Rebels.
I do. Yeah, so like I'm trying to do my homework for Ahsoka that's coming out very soon, and
this week.
I'm about halfway through season 3 right now, and I think so far we've had like some really great episodes. Anything dealing with the Jedi, the Force, anything with Ahsoka in it, as well as Maul. I finally got to Maul stuff, and I love all of those episodes. I just feel like that mainly because this is primarily for kids, even though season 3, like end of season 2 into season 3, we're getting into more like adult themes that more adults can get into. I think my only issue is that there's still filler episodes.
Oh yeah.
Like season 2 and 3 have like 22 episodes each, where season 1 and 4 have 13. And I feel like 13's easier to kind of get through, but 22 is like we're trying to fill the void here for 22.
For sure.
And there's a lot of like we had like this great episode, and I was like, damn, that's good. And then there's like followed by 3 fillers, and I was like, damn.
No, 100%.
All right.
Well,
and then we get back into like then the next episode after the 3 fillers is like, oh, okay, damn, we're back. This was a great episode. And I was like, why can't we just like condense into like 1 filler episode instead of 3? But I get it. I'm just kind of going along the waves here. It's just like we got something for the fans, we got something for the kids. It's we're trying to walk that line there.
Yeah, they definitely went the anime route a little bit, where it's like there's filler episodes. But you, go online and just look for see if they have it, because I didn't think of it then. But see if there's filler episode lists where they'll tell you which episodes are fillers, and you just skip those bad boys. That's what I do with anime.
I'm committed though.
Oh, I feel you. No, I feel you.
I'm already more than halfway through. I probably have another 22 episodes. I think the other half of season 3, so I think it's 11, and I think there's 13 in season 4. So at this point, I'm also a completist, so I get it. Kind of finish it what it is.
I get it.
There were other shows that like. Though I did like a rewatch on Digimon like a couple of years ago because they were coming out. Yeah, right, thank you.
That's tough.
I was like, I did a rewatch on that because they came out with like Digimon Try, and it was like 6 movies, and I was like, oh, I really want to watch this, and it took place after season 2, and they're following the original cast. And it's like, you know what, I'm gonna go back and rewatch this. I'm gonna go back and like go through my childhood, and I was like, whoa, man, that was rough. At a certain point, I just kept like every episode had like what's the word, like here's what happened last week, and I found like a filler rundown of like, okay, this was filler, this and that, and so just to kind of get like a third, maybe like a 20-second recap, I was finding people posting online like those 20-minute recaps of those like filler episodes, and I just watched those, and I skipped like 5 at a time. And I was like, okay, that's what happened in that episode, 20-second rundown. Okay, and we're going to watch this one.
Yeah.
And then we went down the line, and we're going to watch this one. But yeah, that was rough to go back and rewatch. And now, after all of that, I rewatched all 6 movies. Or not rewatched, but I watched all 6 movies of Digimon Try. And that was, I don't know, maybe 4 yeyears ago. And now I'm sitting here, it's like, man, I don't remember anything. It's like I did all that work, and now I don't remember shit. But yeah, but I think there's one more movie that they came out afterward that's kind of like wrapping up everything. So I kind of want to watch that, but it was never available on streaming, so I think I have to rent it. But yeah, and I think they're also redoing Digimon as well. Like they're updating it like with better animation, and then just re-releasing those episodes. So I'm not sure about that, but either way, that was my train going down that. But yeah, so far like Rebels is having its ups and downs, but I think we're kind of going toward like what's going to be something great eventually.
The lore that they put into Rebels is just a lot of it's really dope.
Mm-hmm.
And
I can see.
No, yeah, that was it. And then you're gonna see. Wait till they get to a pyramid. That's all I'm gonna say.
To a pyramid.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Just wait till they get to the pyramid. That episode is.
But,
and then there's a campfire episode, and that's all I'm gonna say about that one too. And then all my people who watched that episode, they know what I'm talking about, bro.
I think that one got spoiled for me. I know about the campfire. I think I know what happens in that episode. I don't want to speak it into existence because I don't want to be right.
You probably are. But I'm not gonna say nothing, man. I'm not gonna say nothing.
Don't say anything. But I'm pretty sure I know what it is. I know what happens, and so I'm kind of leading up to it. I think that's coming up on season 3.
Wait till you get to the temple. The pyramid. That's all I'll say.
I think I've already gotten there. Is that the like season 2 finale?
Well, what happens?
Well, we see Maul for the first time.
No, this is much further down.
Okay, all right. Then enough said. Yeah. I can't wait for that. And then so after watching Rebels, Megan came back from work from her travels, and so she's gonna be home for a while. So we decided to sit like now we have enough time where we can actually watch a series. So we settled on Abbott Elementary the first time we're watching it.
Good call.
In a course of a weekend, we watched the entire first season.
As you should. As you should.
As you should. It's such a good show.
Thank you.
I mean, it's an easy binge.
Thank you.
At this point, like I said, we watched it like about in a course of a weekend. We watched the first season, so that consists of 13 episodes. But yeah, it's a fun watch. I feel like Ernesto, I know that if I remember correctly, you said that you had a little bit of an issues with the first season as far as like how much
I talked you into it.
Yeah, the principal took a while to grow on me,
but she's my favorite character.
But so did
hilarious.
It was the same thing with Michael Scott from The Office. Like I thought I didn't latch onto him at first, but then he quickly became obviously the favorite.
It wasn't a cup of tea or flavor yet.
Yeah,
you had to get adjusted to that flavor of tea.
It's funny because for me it was Quinton
Brunson.
Yeah, her character, that's the one that took me a while to get used to, because I feel like that she was like the overachiever, and so it felt like every episode she was trying to do something better, and then it failed, it backfired on her. She learned a lesson by the end of it, and then the episode's over, and then we do this all over again in the next episode. So I felt like that became a little repetitive for me in the earlier episodes. I think as we got down through season 1, we kind of avoided that, and we were getting more versatile with these characters. So, and also different stories to follow. And there's easily one good laugh out loud moment that I have on each episode. And I always like the riff from the principal and the substitute teacher. I know he just got full time, but what's his name?
She's like rapey. She's very rapey towards him, and he's just very uncomfortable about it.
I think he does a really good. I want to get his name. He does a really good. Jim looks at the camera.
Yes. It's a blatant rip off, man. But I feel like that kind of comedy works so much better today because it's like real life, day to day. That's what we find funny. It's not trying to be like scripted comedy.
It's Tyler James Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, he plays Gregory on the show. But yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah.
Like because he just looks at the camera and just like what? Also crazy, just his career itself. It's like I remember watching it from Everyone Hates Chris, and that was a great show. He was also in a few episodes of The Walking Dead, and I liked him in there too. He had a brutal death, but he was good though. I liked him. So I'm glad that he's able to like find another show that he can shine like that. And so and then the entire cast, I think overall they do a really good job working well together. And like each pairing that they do each episode, it's always great to see them do that. I kind of did some research. I was worried that they weren't able to finish the second season because of the writer's strike, but it looks like they finished right before the writer's strike happened.
Are they calling at the end? Because it didn't feel. Because did you finish it? Did you finish it all? You finished the whole?
No.
Caught up?
Just season 1.
Okay.
I just watched season 1, but I wanted to know I want to know what I was walking myself into when I started season 2. And from what I can tell, the last season aired in April, or the last episode aired in April. And that was done, like they counted as it was complete, and then April 19th, and then they said they were going to start writing season 3 on May 2nd.
May 1st.
Yeah, production and writing for the third season was originally expected to commence May 1st, but then however the writer's strike postponed that indefinitely. So so it looks like if that because I read the exact same thing. So if that was true, that means that they were taking like 2 weeks off or whatever, however long they had between the seasons in order for them to start writing for the third season. So I think they did complete it, but I was trying to avoid it because I feel like it was like I was about to enter spoiler territory, that something happened at the end of the second season that people were talking about it. But yeah, either way, I'm enjoying the show. It's a show that we're gonna probably next time we come back on, I would have probably finished the second season by now. By next episode, so I'll talk about that, and we can talk about it then, Ernesto, about like your thoughts on the whole thing. But I know that eventually, I'm assuming season 2 is better. Is that safe to say?
Season 2 is great. They definitely they open it for the characters to flourish a little bit more, especially from oh my gosh, I just lost.
Just there.
Tyler James Williams, like his character gets a lot more screen time. I mean, you get to his dad, you get some moments with his dad, and then him and
More personal life.
Yeah, more of his personal life, and then him and Janine have a couple of good moments in season 2. Just
Like the gift episode.
or even the last, I guess what's considered the finale. They have a moment in there. They have a moment in the last episode before they went on the writer's strike hiatus, which I guess I thought at that point, because it seemed kind of early for that to be the finale, or unless maybe they anticipated the strike, so they kind of wrote themselves into a finale-ish area.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, you're in for a ride. It's a great watch.
Okay, it sounds good. But yeah, anyway, that's all I've been watching. That's all we've been watching. So now we're going to be diving into our spoiler review of DC's latest adventure within Blue Beetle. So David, you are a guest. We'll start with you. What were your thoughts on Blue Beetle?
It was an enjoyable movie. It was good. I have mainly one gripe with the movie, and I might get a little flack with it, but I thought that Blue Beetle suit was super awesome. Yeah. I thought that was one of the most comic book accurate suits and uses of power, and how they made everything look good. Bro, like, dude, that's spot on from his cartoon on Young Justice. That was my Young Justice was my very first introduction to Jaime Reyes, and then I learned who Blue Beetle was. Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle was, and then bro, it looks exactly like the cartoon, which looks exactly like the comic book. It's nuts. It's great. And okay, my only gripe with this movie, and it's not even a gripe because I'm Hispanic, so I get it. Family is everything, right? But this movie should have been called Blue Beetle and His Family. Because
Beetle and team.
But yo, Gatling gun Granny, I was like, this is dumb. That was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life, bro. Okay, I'm not mad that they used the family because they're Hispanic. Like, it was hilarious when like he's going for a job interview and like the whole family's like, hi, like, you know what I'm saying, with beeping the horn and like, you know, being very like loud and like cheering him on to when he's about to go for a job interview. That was funny. The whole love of the family, him being stronger because of his family, which I was able to call that was going to be said. Like the first time the bad guy's like, your friends and family are your weakness, and I'm like, bro, they're gonna recall that. That's gonna be like, no, man, my family's what makes me strong. I'm like, I called it. I looked at Caleb. I'm like, he's gonna say his family makes him strong. But it was just like they relied too much on the family, bro. And 2 parts of this movie, actually 3, because of the ending when they saved him when he had to jump in the ship. 3 times he would have died if it wasn't for his fucking family, who have no military training, no physical training. They're going in, bro. No, bro. No, I'm sorry. No, bro. Dude, Gatling gun Granny. Like, they relied too much on it being like a family thing than it being a Blue Beetle movie, and which is cool. Like, I understand. I'm Hispanic. Family's everything, and that's a big part of who Jaime Reyes is, and I get it because I believe we're all Hispanic here. You know what I'm saying? We totally get that our family is too much into our lives because of this. You know what I'm saying? And I get that. And that was tight. But they relied on it too much until it wasn't funny anymore. Like, why does Granny get a Gatling? Bro, she's not bulletproof, and she puts her bulletproof grandson behind her. Like, I got this. Wait till they hit the corner. I'm like, bro, no, I'm sorry. No, that was dumb. And then the only thing I thought was dumb about the suit was that he just burns up his clothes every time he like wants to go. I'm like, dude, you're gonna have no closet. Yeah. That's gonna be financially unfeasible for you. You're already in the slums. Like, bro, every time you want to save the world, you're gonna be butt naked after. Like, they should have did it like in the comic books. It just goes over his clothes. Boom. Like, I don't get me wrong. It looked really dope with you seeing the ambers. I'm like, oh, that's tight. But then by like the 5th time, I'm like, does this guy gonna have clothes? Like,
I feel like they're setting that up for them to do the next one, because obviously with the post-credit scene with
Blue Beetle,
the original Blue Beetle being alive, like maybe he's gonna create some kind of like exosuit that he can that won't burn up when he transforms.
that wouldn't make sense though, because Blue Beetle would never have the Scarab is the exosuit.
I guess that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? But also that's my only gripe with it. Like, besides that, it was an enjoyable movie for what it was, and they were smart keeping it like in the DC universe, but keeping it like not showing the DC universe. Like, they mentioned, I think Batman, Superman like one time. let
Yes,
you know
he did.
like, oh, they're around and they exist, but they're not Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, or it could. So like, if this movie did succeed, like they kind of want it to, and like it is kind of, then it could be in the James Gunn later, or they could Secret Wars it or Flashpoint it or whatever. But great choice on the actor. He's hot right now as a Hispanic actor. He's Mexican. It works. I liked him in Cobra Kai, even though I couldn't finish season 5. Too campy for me by that season. But I thought everyone was great, except they really didn't rely on the mom was just there. Yeah. Except, but yeah, Gatling gun Granny. That's a no for me, dog. Like, I just couldn't get jiggy with that. But it was. But
Ernesto,
it was
what about you? Oh, sorry.
No, that was it.
No, I think I liked it a little bit more than you, but that's only because, and Matt, I think I've talked to you about this. Like, if I go to see a movie with the kids and I see that they're enjoying it, I will tend to like the movie more because I see that they're getting enjoyment.
Oh yeah,
from
that's
it.
dope.
You know what I mean?
That.
And they
Empathy.
and I think that this movie, to your point, I think this movie was geared towards a younger audience, and they were restricted to showcasing and talking more about the expanded DC universe.
Yeah.
Like, because at this point they had already known that, that James Gunn was bringing change, and like maybe they talked to him about it, and they left it vague enough to where it can fit into the DCU, but it doesn't really talk about what came before. Like, it kind of fits into both universes. But I mean, I thought it was good. Like,
yeah.
It was a little campy. The whole family in the room. Although when he initially grabbed the scarab,
that was hilarious.
Although that whole scene was fucking hilarious. When it jumps on his face and it goes like literally, like, you kind of see it, like, it was kind of intense, like seeing that thing like rip his face and like his whole family screaming, or when they take his truck and George Lopez passes out. Like, there was a lot of good funny, like, we were laughing about that in it.
George Lopez was fun,
hilarious,
bro.
He was obviously
so funny.
He was the obvious comedic relief, and I think it worked for what the movie tried to do. But I see what you mean, where like it was kind of campy, like where the family was like the Blue Beetle team. I mean, at one point the mom was literally flying the ship.
Bro, they had no training whatsoever. Bro, they are a Hispanic Mexican poor ass family in the slums, right? No joke, right? On the beach, nice location, not a richest area, right?
On the beach,
not the richest area. How I could understand George Lopez, because he was a tech geek, how he would be able to fly the ship, or like learn how to work anything, because they already stated he was very tech savvy, like very extremely tech savvy. So that made sense. But the sister to me was the Star Wars trans chick in this movie for me. I could not stand the sister. She was annoying. She was so annoying, bro. And then like she finds a glove thing. She's punching people, and then she uses it as a shield, and then she gets shot. And this is her reaction. Bitch, you got shot by an AR-15 automatic rifle, basically. And she's mad. And then, bro, I would have been like, all the people were shooting at the shield. Dude, the shield covered from like her torso up. Just shoot her in the leg. just aim down real quick. Boom, she's done. And then, take her out. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I will say that there was a lot of camp in this movie.
Yeah, but I understand it.
And so like I think I see both sides. I think at this point you're kind of like suspending disbelief here. It's like, all right, this family has zero military training, and they're doing all of these stunts and activities.
Except for Granny, apparently.
Granny with the Gatling gun, bro.
But not even that. When she's looking, she's like, "Oh, let me look at the floor plan. That's where we're gonna go in."
I'm not gonna lie, though, that part was funny though.
Yes, and then she's like, "Down with the imperialists."
Yeah, that part was funny though. That part was funny.
But that's where Gatling Granny.
But no,
worked.
what made it even worse is as soon as she holds it, they have to even. Granny, how do you know how to hold a Gatling gun already? How am I supposed to hold it like this? Like how else would I? Obviously by the handles.
There's a lot you don't know about Granny. Yeah. We'll explain that later. I think to Ernesto's point, I do agree with you, Ernesto, where it's like, and also like again, both sides. David, you're absolutely right that Granny holding a Gatling gun, like pushing her aside, it's all fully camp, but I think they teed it up in a way where I can almost forgive it because they were like, Granny, how do you know how to hold a weapon? It's like, there's a lot you don't know about Nanny.
Yeah.
There's a lot you don't know about her.
secrets
It's
in
like,
these
what?
basements.
And all of a sudden she puts her hair down and she's like, revolution!
Dude, she
And like, holy
she
shit.
pulled like one clip out and it's like
What's-
whoopah, and then, like now she's like gangster. Like she looked like Tony Trejo.
Yes. Donnie Trejo.
But so I think because they kind of set it up in a way that she had a past, so it didn't, like, it just didn't come out of nowhere. Then I was like, okay, I can lean into it a little.
No, that's where I forgave it. That's why the whole map scene was funny to me, because I'm like, oh well, she in her youth overthrowing the government. I could understand her looking at a map, trying to see where the weak points are. That totally is not out of my realm of reality. That totally made sense, because they even like, oh yeah, Granny's with the revolution. Like, oh, okay, that's a bet. You know, I'm not saying Granny can't hold her own, but I mean, he's literally bulletproof. Give him the Gatling gun and stand behind him.
Well, at the time, the suit was still rebooting, so I guess we're going off with the suspension of disbelief here on that particular. It's like, sure, she has the bigger weapon at the moment.
True.
So there's that. I think, to me, it was. I think I might be leaning toward Ernesto's side. It was better than I thought it was going to be, because I was already walking in there kind of like low expectations into the movie. Like I said before earlier, I wasn't really sold on the trailer, but I think we opened strong.
Yeah,
like, I mean, but it also very, for me, it was like, I understand that this is like the Spider-Man DC version, like, but it just felt too similar. Like, the origin story, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
It's a mix for me, it was a mix between Spider-Man and Iron Man. You have the tech side of Iron Man with like the humor and the spirit, and the exuberance of what, you know, Reyes was.
Uncle Ben.
And so I was like, and that's Spider-Man. And then like the tech world and everything like that was Iron Man. Even at the beginning of Iron Man, like it's the same beginning. It's like, instead of getting bit by a spider, he gets, you know, attacked by an alien beetle. And to your point, Ernesto, you said that scene when he was transforming, that the beetle was taking him over, you said that was like hilarious. I was looking at that scene's like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, but that's what made it a good scene.
That's
like, it was a good scene to watch. Is what I guess is what I meant to say.
When George Lopez says it went up his ass, it went up his culo.
I think it was also funny when he came back and he was fully naked, and then there's like, oh my God, your huevos, and then they're like, it's so small, and then George Lopez is like, it's cold.
Yeah, that's the scene I was trying to remember in my head. Cold. It's because it's cold, Mom.
It's cold. That part had me rolling. Also, I will say that George, like, again, I see George Lopez. He's a hit or miss for me. I thought, again, leaning into like this movie might not be for me, but he actually was a standout more than I thought he was going to be. So I give George Lopez credit of not only being like the comedic relief, but the tech guy. He also gave a little bit of heart in the movie as well when they found the underground layer in the first place, and then he gave him a talk on the rooftop. I was like, okay, this movie, he's showing a little bit more than just being the comic relief or the tech guy. So I'll give him credit there. But yeah, this movie was better than I thought it was gonna be. Arguably, maybe the best DC movie we've seen this year.
I would still say The Flash is better, but I because I enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed this movie. I think as a better cohesive story. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Like The Flash was all over the place, but like I said, I enjoyed it for the fan. Go ahead. Oh,
how does this compare to
it.
Shazam?
That movie sucked. Like
what?
Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
Yeah.
That movie was doo doo. Like yeah, that was on the lower end of the spectrum, which is crazy because I really, really love the first Shazam movie.
Yeah.
Like I really, really loved it. I hate the fact that they changed his suit, like a little bit with all little like plastic pieces added to the side. Like that original suit was, which they went off the New 52. That's New 52 accurate. That was ripped out of the comic books. Like there's a few people that have gotten the comic book accurate, and I believe Shazam was one of them. And whatever we were talking about earlier, Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle is another one that they're like, DC does a better job of actually nailing the actual comic book instead of trying to make a more realistic version of what it would look like.
Yeah.
Like Aquaman in green and gold, I would have never thought would have worked in live action, but somehow they did it, and it looks. The only one that they haven't done quite well, which they tried to fix it in the Flash, was the Flash. Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman ripped out the comic books. Superman ripped out the comic books. Batman ripped out the comic books. Cyborg ripped out the comic books. Peacekeeper ripped out the comic books. Suicide Squad, unfortunately, ripped out of New 52 comic books and the Rebirth, but it is what it is with Harley Quinn. Like, everyone is, like, ripped out the comic books. Vigilante, dude, I have the first appearance of Vigilante graded on my wall. That looks exactly like Vigilante. So, I was sad to see the Flash didn't have an actual good suit.
Ernesto, what about you? What are your thoughts comparing it to Shazam 2? Because I feel like they're similar in a sense, like we're going for a little bit younger audience vibe.
They're similar. I like Shazam, but I think once again for the same reason, like if I watch it with my kids and they like it, then it's fine. It's enjoyable. And and I think with both films, I had a good they gave a good theater experience. Like both times in this movie and in Shazam, like when you're getting reaction from the theater, they're laughing, so then it causes other people to laugh, and then people just started vibing off of that. Like when George Lopez, every time he would do something funny, like the theater would like go into like an uproar. Like I just had I had a good vibe in the theater I was in.
I had the most Hispanic family next to me. And Granny was into this movie, but she wouldn't shut up about it. But like she was the worst best case scenario in that she talked when it was really loud.
Oh, okay.
So she never talked in the quiet, but she would oh yeah, but she would just be fucking. I mean, she would be very Hispanic. And then her talking at walking out. This movie's a 10 out of 10. Like, I was like, I mean, I'm glad you enjoyed it like that. Like more that then this movie was meant for you, and I'm very glad you enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed the movie as well. Just
I think that's probably why it's going to do well because it's going to warrant to be enjoyed by a much broader audience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the first Hispanic superhero. I think it beat Sony. I think they were trying to get the one with Bad Bunny in it. I think they were trying to get that out there.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Well, they just canceled it. It's done
because it was going to be garbage.
So now, obviously, Blue Beetle beat them to it, and like I said, it was more enjoyable than I thought it was. Again, sharing a lot of similarities, like the father died in the movie. I think that was a pretty good scene though, like as he was trying to rush to save his family. Pretty dramatic, gave him kind of a lot to work off of. Again, kind of feeling the Spider-Man vibes of like he suffered a loss and therefore he's becoming stronger before it. The house burning down. I know the house was like a big deal in the movie because they were going to lose it, and that's the things at the beginning of the movie. And so the fact that it kind of burned down and the fact that his dad died kind of gave it more weight than it needed to, kind of giving it the fact that this isn't just a kid's movie. We have a little bit of, we have the levity and we have like the spirit, but it's also like they did the stuff.
Yeah, there were some stakes.
Again, there are some stakes involved. Exactly. That's a good word. That's the word I'm trying to say. And I just feel like I've just seen it before. Mm-hmm. So like it doesn't necessarily change the game, but I was enjoying what I was watching because the standout to that, like it was similar to, like I said, Spider-Man and Iron Man, but what those two movies didn't have was family. They really leaned into
Spider-Man has Aunt May.
Spider-Man's more of a solo story for the most part. It's like he has his villains and like, hey, Aunt May, how you doing?
It's
like, I'm good. It's like, all right, see you.
I don't know, man. In the more recent, I guess, years, he's been more of a family man.
That's fair. I'm not reading the comics.
Yeah. But there's also 80 years or damn near 80 years, so there's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot to pick and choose from where you're reading and where the entertainment's coming from.
But yeah, I just felt like they really, like you said to David's point, they're really focused on the family aspect of it all, and it can lead to a little campy toward the end, which I still believe. Like for me, it was like, all right, we're having the family kind of join in. I think I was on board for the family's involvement until we got into like the Beetle ship, and at that point, I was like, okay,
that's where it lost me. That's where exact point. Bit. If I could detect like. Because I'm all I can for understand.
The family. Yeah, I agreed, and like I understand the whole like, you know, we're going to try to do the best we can as a family. They were kind of working with him a little bit, but for the most part, it was still Reyes's journey with George Lopez to assist, as well as, what's the character's name? She, like, the one who kind of started it all. Jenny Cord was like she was what, like the daughter of the tech father, the original Blue Beetle.
Well, the second Blue Beetle.
Ted Cords.
Right.
The second Blue Beetle.
Ted Cords daughter.
Because they also had the original Blue Beetle in the Blue Beetle cave, like the blue with the red. That was the Charleston Comics original before DC got it. So yeah, Ted Cord is actually the second. He's the Golden Age, but not this. I mean, he's the Silver Age,
not the
Blue Beetle.
Right. And I think that's kind of cool that they gave it. You know, they kind of paid homage to the source material in a lot of ways as well. And
yeah, no, that's 100% source material.
And they also, like, to David's point, they gave I thought the suit looked awesome, like when it was in its full form. I did feel like some of the action scenes were a little chaotic in a way that we were trying to hear the voice that's like the voice in his head as well as the action, and I feel like there was a lot of craziness going on. I was a little bit kind of difficult following along as far as like I was trying to understand their dynamic and like how that all fit in there, and what that eventually we got there. I think toward the end we had a better understanding of like the AI and the human, but I think in the beginning it was just kind of all over the place, and it was like either this is how you should do it, and he's just screaming the whole time, and so like yeah, that was a little bit tougher to get used to kind of understand like, okay, what is she trying to do? What is exactly going on? Also, I'm understanding the rules of the suit. Again, if I was gonna knock anything, I feel like they didn't really explain well like their relationship in a way, but they did their best for what they had to move the story along. I think by the end of it, I got there, so it wasn't like too far off of me understanding, or like by the end of the movie, I understood their relationship, and so it's interesting to see where they kind of go with this character. But also, I kind of liked at the end of the movie where he was fully prepared to kill the other guy, like our main antagonist, and the AI stopped him and was like, hey, throughout this whole movie you don't want to kill nobody, and now you're ready to kill somebody. And like it's kind of like reverse. The AI was telling him to kill people. He was like, we're not killing anybody. And then based off of emotion, he was like, I'm gonna kill this person. And the AI was like, you don't understand. Like here's what you need to know about this person. And then we kind of felt for him a little bit, and then he sacrificed himself. So
in a gangster way too.
Yeah.
Did anyone believe Susan Sarandon was a good villain? I
very surface level.
I did not believe she was like great actress for sure.
Yeah.
Couldn't buy her as a villain.
But it was very surface level. But
it was.
But Matt, to your point, and I don't think it's an AI. I think it's the Scarab is like an alien. It's like
that's fair.
You're talking about the almanac though. Right? Or are you talking about the almanac?
No, he's talking about the beetle.
Okay, my fault.
He's talking about the Scarab. I would because then it's like I think of it more of like a Venom thing, because they even talk about it's like a symbiote that they're merging with. Yeah. So we almost got a little bit of the Venom storyline of them trying to figure out their relationship with each other and how to come to an understanding of how they can operate. Because you remember in the beginning, the suit was getting ready to kill, just ready to murk everybody. But then he stopped him. He stopped the suit and said, no, we don't kill. So it's almost like a setting that she remembered. Because then she remembered that when she connected with the other guy, she learned, he taught the Scarab empathy. Right. So that when the Scarab connected with him, with the OMAC or whatever, that gave her reasoning as to why not to kill, and also going back to his like first directive when they first merged.
Mm-hmm.
But to Matt's point, though, in the comic books, I would definitely consider an AI. It comes from the civilization called the Reach. Okay. What they do is it's artificial intelligence for sure, 100%. That's why it's able to. So what the Reach does is they originally the Reach was world conquering, right? But then they got into it with the Green Lantern Corps. So to infiltrate now without conquering, they send the Scarab out to different planets. The Scarab takes over. The Scarab chooses someone to take over, and then the person no longer is control their body. The Scarab is, but the Scarab's not working for the Reach, infiltrating, pretending to be a good guy and to be a peaceful ambassador for the Reach to come to your planet, and then the Reach will take over through your infrastructure and whatnot. But you were invited because at this whole full time you thought that the ambassador was working with you, but then the whole time they're working against you. But being delivered to a planet Earth, the scarab got messed up, and the original Blue Beetle found it, and it didn't really work for him, so it was given to Ted Cord. Really didn't work for him, and then that's why Ted Cord's Blue Beetle didn't really have any powers. But then it chose Jaime Reyes. And then, but it was messed up from Crash Collision, and it also got a little bit enhanced by magic. So the Reach no longer has its Reach on it. So that's why the Blue Beetle has its own it's its own personality. It's learning because it's the first one to become sentient on its own. And that's Blue Beetle's lineage.
There you go. But yeah, I mean that does make a little bit of sense. And so obviously they went into a different direction here. But I think you guys mentioned this earlier. I think Ernesto, you might have mentioned this, but like they played it smart by not trying to include any of the DC characters we've seen in the past films, while also not really introducing anything to set itself forward. The only thing that we got of a tease for this next movie, if there is a next movie or a future for this character, was that the father, the original Blue Beetle, is alive somewhere. And
Ted
so
Cord,
like
baby.
So, yeah, we don't know where he is, but he's alive, and they kind of teed it up to where if we were to continue, this is where we would go. But also, I think they have a good enough ending if this is the only thing we see of this character. Even though James Gunn has said that this character will continue, that could be said now, and they can decide to go a different direction later. But I think for now, and this is kind of what I wanted from The Flash, they gave it its own like standalone story. And you can rewatch this movie and have a beginning, middle, and ending, where I feel like, in a way, with The Flash, you can, but they also, in a way, they didn't, because they also teed it up to where, like, silly stuff could happen. I don't know. But I think compared to all the movies, which I wasn't thinking I was going to say this, was like, I enjoyed this movie more than I did The Flash and Shazam 2. And it's the only positive rating on Rotten Tomatoes right now. I think both Shazam and The Flash are in the rotten territory of Rotten Tomatoes, but Blue Beetle is sitting at 88%. So obviously the critics enjoyed it. I think the fans will probably enjoy it as well, as much as we're kind of saying that we all enjoyed the movie too. So yeah, unfortunately though, the box office reception wasn't as favorable. It was expected to hit around 30 million or so.
So it had a budget of 104.
Yeah.
104 million?
Yeah, that was its budget. So we're looking at it. So as of this weekend, 25 million domestic, 18 million international, worldwide 43 million. I mean, that's
it's not great. I think the prediction was it was going to make at least 30, and it didn't. So it was 5 million off, at least in the
You mean 30? Yeah, I was gonna say 30 domestic.
Yeah,
not worldwide.
Correct. Yeah, it was gonna make 30 million domestic, and so and also on an international market, it didn't seem like a lot of people were interested in watching this movie either, which is sad because for many reasons. One, this is the first Hispanic superhero, so like it's not like we got the warm embrace of like when Wonder Woman came out, she was the first female superhero. That movie made $1 billion. When Black Panther came out, that was the first black superhero. That made $1 billion. And the first Hispanic superhero, and we're lucky if we're even going to crack 100 mil at this point.
To the point of the Black Panther, though, real quick, I think Black Panther handled the being ethnic and having and family being a big part of it a lot better than Blue Beetle did.
Absolutely.
By far, and that's what I kind of was expecting that to be portrayed better, and it just, in my opinion, was too much. And then that's what they relied on humor for it being there.
It was like to the point. It was definitely leaning more toward the kid angle. Like it's more family friendly, kid friendly. 100%. Definitely more campier than the other two, like Wonder Woman and Black Panther. But yeah, I think overall, I think it did its job. It's like it's almost like this was better than I expected. A lot of this I've seen before. In a way, they kind of played it safe by giving us the same tropes of an origin story. I think also part of me, and kind of leaning into a little bit of superhero fatigue, it's like I know what an origin story is. I think we can do better now. Like I think we can move on from the origin story, or give us a different way to introduce the character that's not an origin story.
Or felt very plot armored like, oh, I lose this job real quick, I stand up for her, and then the billionaire's gonna care about you and come to my job at this time, and of course she didn't even remember you existed. Luckily, the only reason you mattered to her was because she had the alarm went off and she needed a way out.
Needed a way out.
And she was talking to you, so she handed you a box lunch. that was like, bro, what billionaire cares that a maid got fired?
Yeah, I mean,
not one.
Well, that showed that she showed like empathy in them, but obviously forgot about it literally the next day. But he also came in almost unannounced and was like, "Hey, you know what that thing you said yesterday? I'm gonna come into your office tomorrow." Yeah, it's like I'm dressed in a suit, so like
like I said, plot armor.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like, going back to that scene. It was funny that the family kind of supporting him, and they were like, "Hey!"
Bro, once he was honking the trunk on beat was there singing, bro, I was dying.
Yeah,
I was cracking up, bro, because that's so Hispanic. Like the annoying family cheering you on, just like, yo, leave me alone.
And also George Lopez and his reaction to I think it's a como, but he called it the taco. And it's like when they came back from saving Jenny from like the facility, and like Reyes stole the truck, and then you just hear him in the background, it's like, oh no, and then he just like comes back and
bro,
like, okay,
hilarious,
okay, and then he throws a shoe at them. It's like so stupid.
He's so mad about his truck, bro.
Yeah.
But if I've ever seen a Toyota Tacoma more Mexican, it was in that movie, bro. But the truck that they give him after, bro, that was a beautiful truck. Toyota Tacoma was my dream truck, and that was on steroids. It was beautiful, man. That was the best part of the movie. No, I'm just kidding. I actually really enjoyed the movie.
So with that, David, what's your final thoughts on the film?
Well, for once, I did not know that it was supposed to be a direct to HBO Max movie.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense now. That makes a lot of sense to me. I liked it. I was, like I said, a very enjoyable movie. The only thing I just didn't, and I'm not hating on it, and I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the part. I'm just clearly stating that they relied on family, I think, a little bit way too much.
Mm-hmm.
That was all plot armor. But again, I really enjoyed the movie. It was good. Great to see us Hispanics finally getting some representation. You know, I'm not the most Hispanic person ever, but I am Cuban, so. Vámonos. Let's get it going, bro.
Vámonos, let's get it going. You know, the famous Cuban phrase, vámonos, let's get it going.
That was very on par, like the movie, because the movie was basically in Spanglish.
Yeah, it was in Spanglish,
Dude, which also kind of annoys me, and when I'm watching TV, it didn't annoy me in the movie, but it's like, I hate when they're like, the Hispanic character in TV shows, like, always, like, he only speaks the first word in Spanish, like "vámonos," and then it's like, all right, and then I'm going to speak the rest of this sentence in Spanish. But he's the Hispanic character on the show.
Yeah,
it's like
get that Spanish word.
Yeah, yo, it's so funny. Like, ¿cómo está, friends? Why are we doing this?
Or they'll mix it up. They'll do it'll start with one and then they'll end with one, or throw one random one in there.
Like we got the representation in there. Yes.
Yeah.
Ernesto, your final thoughts?
I guess I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than David, but I think it's mainly because I went with the kids. Like, they just, I don't know, like seeing them enjoy it and having the theater really enjoy it. Like, I saw past all the issues. Like, there was obviously plot.
You're feeling empathetic with the crowd.
Yeah, but there's also like all the plot issues, the plot armor stuff. Like, it didn't bother me because it was like, wow, everybody's just here having a good time. Like, especially with like how over the top George Lopez was, that it already set the level of camp.
I don't know,
like,
man. I felt he was the right level of funny. Like,
no. But like, what I mean is that it worked. That it worked for the movie. The level of campiness he worked for what the movie was trying to go for.
I concur.
to hit that younger audience, and even the grandmother, like the whole thing with the let's look at the map. Oh, that's where we're gonna go. We're going in right. Yes, like really, really getting. I was like, whoa, like that's a little over the top, but you know what? I was here for it.
Also, like they were like when they were like the Blue Beetle ship, the movie made a point that Reyes was not going to kill anybody, but yet that Blue Beetle ship was killing a lot of people when it was going down and like stepping on people and like
yes,
and then they had like the beetle fart, and I'm assuming they just knocked them out. But it's like
Yeah.
I was like, all right, so what mixed messages
Bro, it
here.
stepped on somebody.
Didn't it
It stepped
somebody?
through somebody, lifted him back up, and shook off
Come
his
on.
leg,
Yeah,
and then went.
that person
Yeah.
died for sure.
and
Yeah,
died.
he's dead.
That was like that's the one allotted PG-13
It's
death.
And you
Or
know
just
that the granny, that when she's over with the Gatling gun, she didn't kill all
she
those people.
killed so many people. She
Yeah.
killed so many people with those rainbow bullets.
Yeah.
Oh, she massacred
And
poor people just offending. They're just working, trying to make a living. I'm just kidding.
but also,
Low-level security guards.
but even like we had that one Hispanic, I believe he played. He had the really long name that he kind of had his moment. He sacrificed himself, Dr. Sanchez.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one David was talking about.
They tore his
earlier.
ass in half, man.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did. Like he had a pretty.
He's like,
brutal
"Go,
death, but-
you're safe," and then it's like, and then it's like, you
Then the
weren't safe
Olmec just
at all.
literally rips him in half,
Yeah.
and then blows him up.
But yeah, I think as far as my final thoughts, I think I'm leaning toward Ernesto. I think I was able to lean in toward the camp just a little bit, but not as much. I feel like I'll sit in the middle between David and Ernesto. But I still enjoyed the movie for what it was trying to be. It was a lot more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. I think overall, between like Shazam, The Flash, and Blue Beetle, I enjoyed this one the most, surprisingly, because I wasn't expecting to. I think the villains were a little one note. They didn't really serve as much to me. They really focus on the family, which most origin stories do. I feel like in most origin stories, the villain kind of gets left to the wayside. I think of like Iron Man or even Guardians. It's like the villain was not the priority in this movie. We really wanted to establish our hero, and that's what this movie did. Kind of followed the same tropes as any other origin story was. So though I've seen it already, I think we can move past it. As much as similarities that they had with other origin stories, I think the standout for this was like, and that what the big difference was the family angle and how the family was able to get together. It was never a mystery. Like Reyes was never trying to hide his identity. That his family literally saw him transform into this character. So like that was
refreshing.
already established.
Yeah.
They established that from the beginning. And they had a really like funny moment for that, and so yeah, and it had a few moments of heart, it had a few moments of humor, and ultimately I enjoyed it. Like it was a good time in the theater, and that's more than I can say for The Flash. I know you like the movie, David.
I get it. I understand.
But I
it
also
sucks. Don't worry. I know it sucks. I know.
But I also had a good time watching Shazam 2 in the theater as well. But I think this one just. Even the family aspect, because Shazam 2 also leaned into a different kind of family, but I think this movie did a better job at kind of like the importance of family and how like it doesn't make you weaker, it makes you stronger angle. And there was a line in there that I wrote down that I liked was that when they're like when Reyes and Jenny were kind of in like this empty mansion and she was kind of like grieving or kind of venting to him about the passing and like her upbringing and the passing of her mother and everything, and also her father. And she was making Reyes was saying that how cool it must have been to grow up here, and she made the line saying there's this house is filled with stuff, but your house is filled with love. And I feel like that was a great line to kind of showcase is that yeah, you can have all the money in the world, but when you don't have family or love to kind of back that up, then it really doesn't amount to anything. Whereas like love and family was more important. So when we actually got his father's death, there's a lot of weight that holds to it. They actually broadened the stakes. They established that the house meant something to this family. And when you destroyed it, as long as killing the father, like you're like, damn, okay, so they've lost some things right now. And so them banding together to kind of, in the campiest way possible, but they banded together to kind of neutralize this threat to their family as well as maybe the world. I don't know, honestly. They didn't really focus on the villain at all, really, to kind of make us care for that at all. It was more like Susan Sarandon, she was our white villain. She was our white billionaire, and the Hispanic family saved the day. No matter how you look at it, that's exactly what happened.
That's what it is.
Her crime is gentrification.
Yeah.
Hard gentrification.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. So I hope we get to see more of Reyes in the future DCU. Like it is odd that we didn't really get any tease, which is probably for it's better or for worse for what it was. And James Gunn kept saying that this character is moving forward, so I guess we'll just take his word for it. And we don't know how it's going to move forward, but I think it's nice that at least this this version of the character, hopefully, will move on into the bigger DCU, whatever that plan may be. Maybe I don't think there's any sequels in place, but maybe some cameos in future projects. Who knows?
Well, I actually have an idea for that. Like, James Gunn, I think, has gone on and stated that he doesn't want, like, the DCU is going to, no more origin stories. He's really trying to stay away from that. Like, this universe is already going to exist. All the characters are already going to exist, or they're going to be the superheroes.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a good platform for this actor's Blue Beetle to already, like, hey, it already exists. We could use it now.
Yeah.
It exists in this universe.
Yeah, and we've already seen, like, I mean, again, since we already got the origin, we're good. We can
Just
move
throw them
past
on
that.
in here.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, there you go. That's our spoiler review on Blue Beetle, DC's latest adventure. We have maybe one more to go with Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom. With the writers and actors strike going on right now, it's unsure whether or not we're gonna see Aquaman 2 this year at the end of 2023. But I guess time will tell on that front. But we still got one more DC movie to kind of keep our eyes on, and maybe close out what the DCEU is before diving into James Gunn and Peter Safran's world with Superman Legacy in 2025. So yeah, but
I like how he already calls it.
I called dibs on Superman and Deadpool 3.
Like, two years from now, I got you guys.
Whenever Deadpool 3 comes out, I'm here. I'm there. I called it. Like, I think I called that like a year ago already.
Anytime he sees a trailer, he'll like send me like, I call this one.
I don't care who else me and Esteban, Batman Brave and the Bold, I call it.
Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, let's get it. Me and Esteban are the two biggest DC friends you got.
I mean, we've had you on. Remember, we've done Batman before.
Yeah, but there was supposed to be vindication here, man. I don't understand. But somebody was too good to show up.
We'll reconnect you two eventually. Maybe for Batman and the Brave and the Bold. That might be like a few years from now, but maybe with Superman, whoever. It'll happen again. But you're right, David, that you and Esteban are both our DC guys that we go to. But with that, thank you very much for joining us yet again. It's always a pleasure having you on the show and getting your insight. And I know that you love Whatcha Watchin, so I'm glad we were able to fit it in this particular episode for you.
If I'm on, don't you no, I'm just kidding. Don't you dare have the audacity to take away the thing that I look forward to every week.
This is what I need,
dude. Because like honestly, I love to talk to. So I talk to myself when you guys are playing in my car, right?
Yeah.
Right. So besides Ernesto, I don't get to talk to people about movies and TV and stuff, which is literally 90% of my life. Like I just, if I'm not working, you can catch me on my couch watching TV. Yeah. I like where I live. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is the only place I get to do so with like-minded individuals.
Well, I'm glad that we can provide a platform to you to express your movie needs. And as well as, we do this every week. So this is also our platform to kind of expose. Like, I don't think Megan wants to hear my thoughts on every movie that I watch. Like, she's like, I don't care.
Yeah. I don't care.
You have your time with Ernesto. Get it out there.
Kaylee don't care.
You good?
Yeah. Hannah doesn't care.
But yeah, if you want more from us, you can always follow us on our social media channels on Instagram at boxoffice_bingers, our Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and is that the three? Yeah. Our Facebook, our TikTok, and our YouTube page at Box Office Bingers, and our Twitter page at Box Office Binger without the S.
It's X.
Oh, it's X. I'm sorry. At X. Yeah. At Box Office Binger without the S. Ernesto, tell those listeners what they can look forward to next week.
Next week, we are going to be rounding out the summer box office season. So we're going to do a recap of the summer box office and kind of just go through all the ones that we saw and kind of what are our highlights on them, and as far as budget wise, what were they projected to do, what did they end up doing, and kind of how they fit into the summer box office season. And then we are going to be reviewing Gran Turismo, which I'm actually really excited to go see.
I'm kind of that's definitely
right. Yeah. I know nothing about the true story, so I'm kind of excited to just have this movie kind of give me that experience.
I mean, apparently based on a true story, if I'm not mistaken, some kid got a freaking contract from a tournament playing Gran Turismo, because the game is really their shtick of Gran Turismo is trying to make it as realistic as possible.
Yeah.
Always and forever, that has been their goal. And, technology finally caught up to the point where
Yeah, especially if you can like buy the steering wheel and like buy the whole whole setup for the game.
I honestly want to make my guest room I want to make my guest room like a car simulator. It's not that hard to go build. Like, dude, someone built it like obviously all the components take a little bit of money, but he actually built like a wooden frame that sat the chair and everything for like I think he used like $150 worth of wood at Home Depot.
Yeah, and you already have some of it. Like you already have the game system.
Yeah,
so like you already got a PlayStation,
the foot pedal, and the shifter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And what I find interesting is that the movie, like every like ad that I see for it, or the trailer, or even the poster, it's like the movie's called Gran Turismo, but at the very end, in the same bold letters, like Gran Turismo, based on a true story. It's like it's almost an addition to the title.
Yes.
So it's like, no, we get it. We understand it's a true story. You don't have to like put it in our faces every time.
I thought that was the name of the movie,
but it's
right, exactly.
But it's part of the sales pitch. It's part of the sales pitch of the film. Like, hey, it's not just some random story. Like, this shit actually happened. Come watch it.
Exactly.
Dude,
come on.
Well, what if it actually is like the title of the movie? They're like, no,
Gran
that's
Turismo.
actually it's based on a true story. That's the title. What are you talking about, guys?
That's the title. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to talking the movie with you, as well as kind of doing our summer blockbuster, our summer box office recap, because this year in particular has been the most interesting when it comes to the box office stuff. So we're gonna be diving into all of that next week. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for listening to us just talk about movies and have fun doing so. We really do appreciate it. And with that, I've been your host, Matt Diaz.
Ernesto Santos. See ya.